For responsiveness, we used to do media queries, and we had like thousands of lines for CSS. But with this technology is basically called Bootstrap. So with this technology, all those thousands of lines would be compacted into a single line. Okay, so all of that would be achieved with just a single line. We can design for mobile phones, for laptops, for bigger screens, like for every screen with just one line. Okay, so today's topic is Bootstrap. Let me start. Okay, the recording is started. So let me show you what Bootstrap is.
I have
So
a question. Do you say Bootstrap?
yeah, Bootstrap.
Wasn't that to like help design the look, like the buttons and the forms and stuff?
Yeah, it has a lot of, basically Bootstrap work. It has a lot of utility classes. Like
Oh, okay.
it has all of this stuff made up, already built up inside it. Okay, we just have to
Oh, okay.
use that stuff. Okay, so basically, yeah, it
Right.
is for the designing purposes, but the main purpose for using the Bootstrap is the responsiveness of our website. Okay,
Oh, okay.
so we'll search for Bootstrap, just Bootstrap, not Bootstrap 5. Okay, and then this first thing that comes up, you have to click on this one, and this is the starting page. So we'll be using the latest version of the Bootstrap, that is 5.3. Make sure this 5.3 is selected when you search for this website. Okay, 5.3. Okay, so what is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a framework of CSS. So do you guys have any idea what frameworks are? What are frameworks? Like, take a guess.
Um, like a toolbox?
Like a, sorry.
Toolbox?
Yeah, exactly, like a toolbox. So basically, what does toolbox have? It has all of the tools, and we can just simply go in the toolbox, pick up whatever we want, and just start working on that. So basically, Bootstrap is a framework of CSS. Frameworks provides you with a lot of stuff that you can simply use them wherever you want. So basically, we'll be using Bootstrap mainly for responsiveness, and I think you guys know what responsiveness is. So can you please revise it for me? What is responsiveness?
It means when the website's layout changes on all devices.
Exactly, good. According to the devices, it changes itself. So up until at this point, we were using media queries, and I can say that media queries was hell of a headache. Yes, and
Yes.
so to counter that, we have Bootstrap. So whatever we did with media queries, like maybe let's say if we had 100 lines, Bootstrap is going to make them into a single line. Like, it will be achieved in a single line. You'll see, inshallah, in today's class. Okay, so if you were to understand this topic properly, you wouldn't need anything that we have studied before this topic. That you wouldn't need media queries, you wouldn't need like the complex designing and stuff. You would just need the Bootstrap, and that would be it. Okay, so this topic is really important, so we'll start. So for using Bootstrap, in order to use Bootstrap, first you have to visit the website, and if you were to scroll down a bit, you would see here the CDN. And what does CDN stands for? We did came across this when we were using icons. So what does CDN stands from for?
The content delivery?
Yeah, content delivery network. Good. So basically, it has two links. If you were to see here, we have two links. One is the link, and the other one is script. We haven't studied this one, but it'll be covered in JavaScript. So basically, this is what we want at the moment. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to create a new project, but we'll create a new project using command line. So how do we open the command line? What's the shortcut for opening the command line? Have you guys?
Window press R.
Yes, window R, and then we'll write what here?
CMD.
CMD. Yes, command line. Okay, it's not mandatory. We are just basically we're doing it to make a new folder. You can simply do it by right clicking and new and folder. But again, this would be helpful when we'll move towards backend, because most of the backend is operated through this terminal. Okay, so at the moment, in which folder are we currently in? We're in which folder? This last thing is going to tell you the folder we are currently in. Okay, so at the moment we are in HP. We want to move towards desktop. So what's the command for changing our directory from one directory to another directory? How do we do that?
Um,
CD.
CD. Yes, and then Where do we want to move? Desktop. So I'll just write D, and I'm not going to write it whole. I'll just write D and then press tab. So is this what we want? Is this what we want?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just press enter. So it now says desktop. So we are currently in the desktop directory. So now we want to make a new folder. So what's the command for making a new folder? Starts with
mkdir.
yes, mkdir. Good. Make dir, that is make directory. So we want to
Sorry,
name it.
it's mkdir, and then you have to write the folder's name
Yeah,
after that?
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, okay. mkdir, and whatever we want to name our folder. So let's make a sensible name and let's say Bootstrap and enter. So you'll see here we have our new folder created with the name of Bootstrap. So now we want to move in this.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
So you know how you said we have to choose a sensible name, which is Bootstrap, because that's what we're covering today, right?
Yeah.
So any other time we can put whatever there, it will still continue with our coding, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just for your own sake, okay? So that you know what you are doing, okay? So it can be anything. It can be Bootstrap. It can be Bootstrap 2, 3, 4, whatever you want, okay? Okay. So now we want to move in this folder. So what's the command for that? We just covered it up, just like now.
cd bootstrap.
Good. CD and then just press B and then tab. So this is what we want. Yes, we want this and then enter. So the moment we are inside the Bootstrap folder or Bootstrap directory. So now we want to open it with VS Code. How do we do that? How do we open it with VS Code?
Oh, code.
Code. Yeah,
dot.
good. Code space
Code
dot.
yeah.
And what does dot represents? What does dot
So that
represents?
means the current folder.
Good, the current folder. So we are saying using VS Code, open my current folder. So what is our current folder? Bootstrap. So we want to open we want to open Bootstrap folder with VS Code, and just press enter, and it'll open VS Code, and inside the VS Code we will have our Bootstrap folder here. Okay, so what do we want first? We want to have a file, and that file would be named. What would it be named?
Bootstrap?
The main file, the entry file.
Index?
Yeah. So index dot and HTML. Okay, how do we generate the boilerplate?
Exclamation
mark. Good. Save it. And at the moment I want to write, let's say H1. I want to put H1, and I'll say salam or hello, whatever, from Bootstrap. So we can see something on our screen. And after this we want to see what it offers. So I'll just go live, click on it, and yeah, we have this salam from Bootstrap. Okay, I want you to take a good look at the current structure we have. I want you to take a good look at this heading, at the margins, padding, or whatever we have. Okay, so have you seen it? Have you taken a good look? Because now I'm gonna add a Bootstrap link to our website. So how do we do that? We'll go to the Bootstrap website, and I'll just copy this link. And where do we paste our link tag? Where do we paste it?
in the head.
Yeah, in the head. So I'm gonna paste it above the title. I'll just paste it, save it, and if I were to go back to a website, what do you see now? Is there any difference?
Yeah.
It's a lot of difference. We have a different font. We have a different color. If you were to pay close attention to this one, we have a grayish color, dark grayish color. Plus the margins and paddings that we had totally vanished up. So if I were to comment it off again, you'll see what we have without Bootstrap and what we have with Bootstrap. So this is without Bootstrap. Okay, so the moment we put our link, everything changes. So how is it changing? How is it doing it? So basically Bootstrap has a lot of utility classes. So what do you think? What are utility classes? What does utility classes refers to?
Utility classes?
Yeah, utility classes.
Is it like a style?
Yeah, exactly like a style. So basically, just as you said, that framework is like a toolbox. So basically there are a lot of tools, that are already present. We just have to use them.
So
Similarly,
are these for CSS though?
yeah, exactly. It's just for the CSS. So with Bootstrap, we have
Okay.
a lot of classes, like literally thousands of classes that we have already built in Bootstrap. We just have to use those classes. Okay. So let me give you like a practical demo of what utility class is. So I'm gonna do internal styling for the time being. I'll just put style here, and I'll make a class with the name of, let's say, red. Okay. And I'll say color to be red. This is the class that I've made. Okay. And what do you think would happen with this h1? Would it be changed into red or not?
It will only turn the text,
Would it turn
only
into,
the one we.
so no, my question is, would this h1 turn red or not?
Yes.
Think again.
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
This h1 is not going to be affected. Why is that?
I'm sorry. Can you explain again why it wouldn't turn red? Is because you didn't target that?
Okay. So basically,
But you're not muted.
wait, let me mute. Okay, I think he's muted now. Okay, so it's not gonna turn red because this is h1. Okay, this is h1 that's saying salam from Bootstrap. Okay, we
Yeah.
have made a class of red. Okay, a class named red, and it has a property of color red. Okay, but this class isn't applied on h1. It is there,
Oh,
but
right.
it's not applied on h1. Okay, so basically this class
Okay.
is not going to have any effect on this h1 because this h1 doesn't have a class named red. It will just
Oh,
be
got it.
just be as it is. Okay, so this is what a utility class is. So basically we have created a class. Okay, it's not being used anywhere, but whenever we want to have a red color, we're not gonna do, style and then color and then red. What will we do if we want to have a red color anywhere in our code? What would we do? What do you think? What would we
We'll
do?
target all of them for red.
No. Okay, look. I'm gonna explain it again. So we have made a class with the name of red that has a property of color red. So whenever this class is going to be applied anywhere in HTML, what would happen to that text? It's gonna turn red. Is that it? If this class is
Yeah.
going to be applied on any text,
Yeah.
what would happen? That text is going to be turned into red. So whenever we
Yeah.
want to have a red color on any element, we would not go like this. We wouldn't do it like this. I wouldn't say style and then I'll say color and then I'll say red. We wouldn't do this. What would we do? We'll just put a class here and we'll call which class? Which class would we call if we want to have a red color?
H1. Red.
Red. I'll just say red.
Red.
So basically it's gonna call this class, and this class has a property of red. So basically this h1 is gonna have what? It's going to have a red color.
Right.
So basically
Oh, okay, got it.
Bootstrap has like thousands and hundreds and thousands of classes. Okay, just like this one. We can just put the link of Bootstrap here, and we can start using the classes of Bootstrap. So I'm gonna show you some most important classes in Bootstrap, but this is not what we are using Bootstrap for. The main purpose of using Bootstrap is for responsiveness, but these extra classes is like kind of a cherry on top. It comes with Bootstrap. Okay, so my question for you guys is, what would I do if I want to have this text go in the center? What would I do? If I want to place,
Text align
yes,
center.
text align center. So मुझे वो पूरा process बताएं. Tell me about all of the process that we have to go through in order to make this text go in the center. Guide me through every step. What should I do?
Meaning like when you have to target center,
Yeah, I want to target this one only.
text align.
Yeah, I want to target this one only. So what is the first thing I should do? I'm gonna put a
Give
class
it a
here.
class.
Yeah, very good. I'm gonna put a class and let's name it whatever we want. Let's say heading. Okay, this is the first step. What's the second step? I put a class of heading. Okay. Now, what is the second step in order to make this go in the center?
Text align.
Text align on what?
Center.
No. Text align on which element?
On heading.
Yeah, on heading. So I have to target it first. So I want to target it in a CSS. Okay, so at the moment I want to do internal styling. So what should I do? I'll go in the head, I'll put a style tag here. Okay, then I'll target header, and then I'll write text align, and then I'll write center. So
Heading.
all of this
Wouldn't it be
process.
heading?
Sir, ये heading
Oh, sorry, sorry. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah.
Heading.
Heading. So all of these steps just to make our text go in the center. Yes. Isn't it too much
Yeah.
isn't it too much for making that text just go in the center? Isn't all of these steps are too much? They are.
Yeah.
So what Bootstrap is gonna do for us is, Bootstrap has a lot of classes as I said before. So what we are going to do is, we'll just put a class and we'll say, wait, okay, this is in the left. Okay, so we'll just put a class and we'll say text center. So this is a class that is coming from Bootstrap, and what is this class going to do? It's going to do all of those steps for us. It's in the center now. Okay, so you don't
Oh,
have
wow.
you don't have to just give the classes, then go into the CSS and then target that class and then target the property. You just have to write text center, and everything is gonna be in the center. Okay,
That's
similarly,
awesome.
yeah, exactly. We are just getting started. Okay,
And this is in Bootstrap, the class, right?
yeah, this is in the Bootstrap, and where is this class coming from? It's coming from this link that we have pasted
Link.
here. Okay,
Right.
so this is important step. You have to paste this link first in order to make it work. Okay, so there are
सॉरी, ये जो टेक्स्ट सेंटर होगा, ये जब रिस्पॉन्सिव है, जब मोबाइल पे आएगा उसमें भी सेंटर ही होगा कि मैं @media करना
no,
पड़ेगा?
no, 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 no.
वो
It was still center में ही रहेगा. It will still be in the center. Okay.
That's so much better.
Yeah. Okay. So
I
let's.
have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
So does the text center, it works on all elements or just some?
It works on text.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, what is text align used on? It's only used on text. Yes. So basically, text center has
okay.
a property of text align that makes it go in the center. Okay. So it only works on the text elements.
The text align is used on only block elements, no?
No, no, only on the text elements. Okay,
Oh, okay.
like heading, paragraphs, and stuff like that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is as I said, we are just getting started. So if we want to make our text smaller, so how do we how do we change our sizes for the text? What's the property for that?
Font size.
Font size, yes. So we're not gonna go through all of those processes. We'll just write FS. What do you think FS stands for?
Font size?
Font size, yeah. So we have 6 sizes in total in Bootstrap. FS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like the headings. Okay, if I were to write FS6, it's gonna make my text smaller. If I were to write, let's say, FS4, it's gonna make it a little bigger. If I write FS1, is the biggest of them all. Okay, but if I were to make it more bigger, let's say I want to make it more big, so what would I do? There's a class in Bootstrap, it's called display and dash 1. This is the biggest we have in Bootstrap. So if I were to write display 1, it's gonna make it bigger. Okay, this one thing you need to know, you don't have to memorize these classes. Okay, you just have to practice the websites, and it's gonna come all on its own. Okay, you don't have to memorize them, you just have to keep on practicing. Okay, so if I were to make it like a little bit smaller, I'll say display 4, or maybe let's say 6. So the maximum it goes is 6. Okay, it'll change its size accordingly. Any question until now?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about colors now. So we have a lot of colors in Bootstrap, not a lot, maybe let's say 10 to 20 colors. So if I were to make this, let's say, green, okay, so what I'll say here is text and then success. Okay, this success is gonna do what? Is gonna make it go green. Okay, so what do you think would be the code for red color? If the green is success, what would be the red? Take a guess. Like,
I mean, it has its own name.
yeah, it has its own name. So
Fire.
yeah, kind of like that. Fire, and think of something else.
Failure.
Yeah, so yeah, it's yeah, it would be something like that. But think again. If I were to highlight something that is going to cause a problem, So what should
fail.
it has something to do with fail. So
Fail?
no, not fail.
That.
So think if okay. So what sign do we put when we have a kind of like a ditch? If we were going on a road and if we had a ditch, which sign do we have there?
Dangerous?
Danger. Yeah. So if I were to have a red color, I'll just say danger. Text danger is gonna have a red color. What do you think? If I want to have a yellow color, what would be the code for that?
Sun.
So yeah. So basically we have warning. Okay.
Oh, one.
Warning. So text warning, and we have a yellow color. If we were to have a gray color, we'll have text secondary. We'll have a gray color. Then we have text
Do we
dark.
have to memorize these colors?
Just as I said, you don't have to memorize them. The more you practice, it's gonna come on its own. But again, if you were to want to see all of the colors Bootstrap offers, you'll just go in the Bootstrap website, and in the search bar, you can write colors, press enter, and it'll show all the colors that it offers, like all of these colors.
So what would dark gray be?
Dark gray, yeah, that's a good question. So we'll have text secondary, and then emphasis, like emphasize that color. And what is the secondary? It's a gray, and if we were to emphasize it, we'll have a dark grayish color.
Oh,
Okay,
that's for all the colors?
that's for all the colors. Yes,
You can emphasize every color and
every
make it
color.
darker?
Yes. For example, if we were to
Okay.
write, let's say, warning. So what is the warning? What's the color for warning?
Yellow.
Yellow. Yeah. So if I were to write emphasis, what would happen?
It'll be a darker yellow.
Yeah, it'll be a darker yellow, like a brownish something. Okay, wait, let me zoom it so you'll see we have this color, yellow color. Okay. Okay, so if we want to have a blue color, we'll have another code. It's primary. Okay, so we have two blues in Bootstrap. So one is primary and other one is info. Okay, it's kind of like a pretty blue, like a teal color. Okay, so any question with these classes?
No.
Okay, great. So now I want to make it bold. So what's the property for making it bold? Font weight. Yeah. So we don't have to write all of the type. So we just have to write, let's say, FW only. Okay, for FW for font weight, and then I'll say bold is gonna make it bold. Okay, if I were to like, let's say, semi bold, it's gonna make it semi bold. Is it easy?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, so now let's talk about the backgrounds. So what do you think the class for background would be? Make it simpler, make it smaller. What do you think?
BNG.
BNG, very good. The class is BG, standing for background. So if I were to have a red color, what's the code for that?
A danger.
Danger. So I'll write BG and then danger. And we'll have a red color just like that. Okay, and what if I want to have a yellow color?
BG warning.
Warning. Yeah, good. So BG warning. Perfect.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Can you go back to the coding?
here you go.
So you know how you wrote BG warning?
Okay,
What if like warning is spelled W capital A and then R? Is it
it's not
still the
gonna
same?
work. It's not gonna work. Why isn't it gonna
Okay.
work? Because Bootstrap has targeted this class specifically, including the uppercase and lowercase, like including everything like that. So if you were to write W capital, it's not gonna work because there's no class with the name of BG W capital warning. Okay, so BG
Okay.
small warning. So everything is lowercase in Bootstrap. Okay,
Okay.
so we'll have a background color of this. Okay, so what if I want to have space from the inside? What's the property for that? What's the property for making
Padding.
padding? Yeah, good. So what do you think the class for padding would be? Make it smaller, make it simple.
Is it P?
P, good. P, that's it. P. And the maximum we have is 5. So 5, P5 is around 3 rems. Okay. So if I were to write, let's say P-5, it's going to have a padding from all the sides of around 3 rems. Save it, and now we have the padding. Okay, so what do you think would happen if I were to write PT5? Take a guess. What do you think PT refers to?
From the top.
Very good, from the top only. Look, we have a padding only from the top. Okay, so what about PB?
Bottom.
Bottom, good. So what about PY? That's a tricky question, yeah. What do you think PY?
Y-axis are up and down.
Very good. Y-axis. And what is y-axis? Up and down. Okay, so we want to have padding of 5 pixels, 3 rems from up and down, top and bottom. So we'll have a space from top and bottom. Okay. Okay, now I want to make it smaller. What do you think the property would be?
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
What if you want to do all around, like how we said auto? Like,
Yeah,
what
very,
would
very
you
good
P
question.
what?
That's a very good question. So if I were to write auto, so I'll just write P auto, and that's
Okay.
it. Okay, it makes things a lot easier. Yes. Okay, so now I want to make it smaller. What's the property for that? To make any element smaller, what property do we have?
You and me too.
Yeah, I need to do what? Like if I want to make any element smaller or bigger, what's the property for that? Not text, element. Starts with W.
Wait, what's the
Width.
question?
The question is
Width,
width.
width.
So width. Good. So what do you think Bootstrap would call in order to call width? What would I write in order to call
W?
width? Yeah, good. That's it.
W.
Good. W. So in Bootstrap we have 5 widths. We have 0. We have 25. What would be the next one?
50.
50. And next one?
75.
75. And the last one is
100.
100. That's it. Okay. So if I were to write, let's say W25, it means width of 25%. Okay. If I were to save it, we'll have the width of 25%. Let me make the text smaller. So how do I make the text smaller? I'll just remove this display and I'll say, what would I say in order to make the text smaller?
It was font.
Yeah, good.
FS.
FS, very good. And how many units do we have? 6. Good. So we have 6. Let's say FS4. 4 would be good. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now I want to make it go in the width. Let me tell you about the width some more. So if I were to write 50, it'll be bigger, a bit bigger. If I were to write 75, it's gonna increase to 75%. Okay. So let me make it smaller. So let's say 25. Okay, apart from these widths, there isn't any other width. Okay, if you were to write, let's say 24, it's not gonna work because there is no class with a W of 24 in Bootstrap. Okay.
Did you say there was a width 0?
Yeah, there's a width 0 like this. Okay, like no
Okay,
width. I don't want
besides
any
that's
width.
25, 50, 75, and 100, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So if I were to write 25, it's gonna have a 25% of its parent. Any problem
Got
with
it,
this?
yeah.
Okay, great. So the question now is, I want to make this go in the center. What's the property for that?
Text center.
No. It's for the text. I want to make
Margin?
that. Yeah,
Margin
good.
auto.
Margin auto.
Oh.
Good. So I'll just write M, and then
Dash auto.
very good. M dash auto, and that's it.
Wait, what if you write M dash center? Does that work or no?
No, it's not gonna work because there is no class with M dash center in Bootstrap, so it's not gonna work.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. So now I want to have space from the top. Like I want to push this yellow from the top. What should I do?
Margin top.
Very good. And what's the class? What would be the class for that?
Empty.
MC. Good. And maximum it goes is? What is the maximum it goes to? 5. Okay. The maximum it goes is 5.
5.
Yeah, 5. 5 is around 3 rems. Okay. It doesn't add up, but it is how Bootstrap is doing stuff. So MT5 is
Wait, so
around
you
3
know how you know how these go to 5? The other one that you said goes to 6, right?
The font size goes to 6. The font size and display
Okay.
goes to 6, and margin and padding goes to 5.
Okay.
Okay. So here you go. Okay. Now I want to make it rounded. What was the property for that?
Border radius.
Very good, border radius, but Bootstrap makes it easy. So I'll just write rounded. Okay, just rounded. And then we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the maximum it goes is 5. So if I were to write 5, it'll make the edges round. If I were to do 3, it's gonna make it less rounded. But what if I were to make it into a proper circle? What would I do? I'll just write rounded pill. You guys have seen the pills, right? So how are they shaped? Like a pill. So basically if I were to save it, now we have a proper pill here. Okay? Any questions?
What if you put like something random? Would it work or no?
It's not gonna work because it's not in the Bootstrap. So only the
Okay.
things that are already in the Bootstrap, only they are going to work. So if I were to write, let's say, test, it's not gonna do anything. Why wouldn't it do anything?
Because it's not in the thing.
Exactly, it's not a thing, it's Bootstrap. Okay, so it's not in Bootstrap, so it's not gonna work, it's not gonna do anything. Okay.
So you know how you wrote rounded for the border radius?
Yeah.
Does that also work for the border?
Yeah, it only works for the border only. The rounded
Okay.
works only for the borders. Okay.
Okay.
So let me remove this yellow color. How do I remove this yellow color from here? Because I want to show you something interesting here. How do I remove this yellow color? Which thing do I remove from here?
BG warning.
Very good, BG warning. So I'll remove this one, and it's gonna vanish. Okay, so the reason I removed it is because I want to show you a really good, not a really good property, but it's a really easy property. So how do we put, how did we put shadows on our elements? What was the property for that? For making shadows on our
Box
elements?
shadow.
Very good, box shadow. In Bootstrap, you just have to write shadow, and that's it. You'll have a proper shadow here. Okay. What if you were to you want to make this shadow bigger? You'll just write shadow dash LG. It's gonna make it bigger. And if you were to make it smaller, simply shadow dash SN. It's gonna make it light. Any questions?
No.
Okay, great. So let's talk about some more classes, and then we'll move towards the real thing. Okay. So now I want to make a button. So I'll just write button, and I'll say, let's say, Bootstrap button. So yeah, we have a button. So in Bootstrap, there's a special class for buttons. So how do I, write classes? How do I write it? Go inside the opening tag, and I'll just say space class. Okay, the special class for buttons is btn. Okay, you cannot change it, it's btn. The moment you write btn, this button is going to be styled. Okay, so what if I want to have this button to have a blue color? What's the code for that? This blue color, this one. What's the color for that?
Primary.
There was another blue. What was the other blue?
Info.
Yeah, good, info. So I'll just write btn dash info. It's gonna have a proper blue color with proper hover effects. Look. Okay. What if I want to make this text white? What should I do?
Color.
No. What's the property for making colors on the text in Bootstrap? What's the property for that? We just added the property above here as well.
Text white.
Very good. We'll just write text dash white. It's gonna have a white color now. Okay. So what if I want to make this button go in the center? How do you do it? What's the property for making something go in the center?
Margin.
Very good. Margin auto. So what's the class for that?
M.
M and
Class
then
five.
dash auto. M auto.
Auto.
It's not gonna work. Why is that?
as a inline
Very
element.
good. It's an inline element, so we have to make it into a block element. Again, we have a shortcut in Bootstrap, so we'll just write D block. D stands for, take a guess.
Display.
Display, good. And dash block basically refers to display block. Save it. It's in the center. But now I want to have a margin from above. What should I do?
Top.
Very good. How do I write the class? Give me the name for the class.
M dash.
No, not M dash. Only from the top.
MT.
MT, good. MT. And what maximum does it reach?
5.
5, good. But let's make it a bit smaller, so we can do this as well. So MT3. So we'll have this space. So look, we have created a really appealing layout with just the classes from Bootstrap. Okay, so that's how Bootstrap makes your work easier, like a lot easier. You'll make like really big websites in just, you can say, you can make the big website maybe in an hour or two, fully responsive websites. Okay, so basically just as I said before, the main reason we are using Bootstrap is not for this styling. The main reason is responsiveness. Okay, so now we are moving towards responsiveness, but before moving towards that, do you have any questions until whatever we have studied just now?
No, not me.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
Wait, I have a.
Yeah.
So I have a question. We don't have to write styles or anything, right? We just have to make it into a class to make all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Good. That's a good question. But again, Bootstrap has limitations. Okay, it's not gonna do everything for you. If you were to have custom stylings, for example, if you want to have a color in this button that is not present in Bootstrap, what would you do? You would do exactly what we were doing before. We'll make.
So you would need styles.
Yeah, you would need styles. Styles not gonna leave you whenever until you're doing the developments. Style is gonna be present everywhere. Okay. So for example, that's a good question, so let me explain that concept as well. Okay, so what if you want to make this button have a purple color like this? Now this color is not present in Bootstrap, so what do you think we would do? I'll just copy this color first. Let me copy this. Yeah, so what do you think we would do? This color is not present in Bootstrap.
So you would use styles.
Yeah, good. I'll use styles, but for that first we have to give this h1, not h1. I want to do this with button. So I want to give a special class or custom class to this button. Okay, a class that is not present in Bootstrap. So give me a name. Let me remove this boolean info as well because we don't want this color. So give me a name, please. Any name.
Color, yeah, purple.
Yeah, we can say, let's say CLR purple. Okay, now this class is not present in Bootstrap, or we can just say, let's say for simple to make it simple, purple. Okay, now this class is not present in Bootstrap. Nothing's gonna happen to our button. Here is our button. You cannot see it because it's white. Okay, but the button is present here. Okay, so again we'll do what? We'll make our styles and we'll target our class. What's the name of our class?
Button.
Or
BTN.
BTN is the Bootstrap class. What's the custom class we have created? Purple, yeah. So we'll target purple. You are not going to target BTN. You cannot target BTN. Why shouldn't you target BTN? No, this raises a really good concept. Just as you said when I asked you which class should I target, and you guys said BTN. And you should never target the Bootstrap classes. Why is that? Why do you think you should never target the Bootstrap classes? Because Bootstrap classes are going to be used in many places. Like in many places, we would have, like, let's say 10 to 20, maybe 10 button or 20 buttons in our website. So if we were to target, let's say, BTN, what would happen? It's going to target all of the BTN classes in our website. We don't want that. We just want the specific BTNs. So that's why we'll make a custom class and we'll target that custom class here. Okay, you should never target the Bootstrap classes because it's gonna make your layout a mess. So I'll just write, let's say, background color to be this. So now we have this. Okay, so if you want to have custom classes, you would still do styling. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I got. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So let us move towards the main topic now. So the main topic is responsiveness. Okay, so I'll just remove all of this again, and I'll put the exclamation mark, the boilerplate, and I want to include Bootstrap in my website. What should I do?
Copy the link.
Very good. Just go inside the Bootstrap website. In their homepage, click on this icon and scroll down a bit. This first link, copy it and paste it here. And in order to test it out, let's write an H1.
I have a
And
question.
yeah,
You see how it was like one whole line when you put the link? How did you get
yeah.
it to like?
Okay, that's a good question. So basically, in order to do that, you'll wait. Let me do it again. I'll copy it. I'll paste it. So it's in one line, yeah. So basically, you are going
Yeah.
to toggle your line. Okay, so how do you do that? Alt, press and Z. Press Alt and Z simultaneously. Oh, so not simultaneously. First press Alt and then Z. It's gonna toggle your line. Okay,
Oh, okay.
Alt and
Thank
Z.
you.
Okay. So let's test whether Bootstrap is included or not. How do we test it? Let's write an H1 and let's say whatever you want. So is Bootstrap included or not?
No.
It is included.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is included. And how do you know it's included?
You put the link
Font.
and it's
Yeah,
Font
it's
family.
very good. The font family changes, the color changes, the margin and padding, the default margin and padding changes. So that's why we know that Bootstrap is included. Okay. So if we were to remove this thing, you'll see that we have this really ugly styling here. Okay. Save it and styling changes. That means the Bootstrap is included. Okay. Now is a really important topic, so I want you to pay like really close attention. Okay, because if you were to get this topic, you wouldn't need the media queries. Okay, this topic is really important. First, I'll tell you something about another class. We have a really important class. So there's a class in Bootstrap called container. Now this is why is this important? Because it's a responsive div, like a really responsive div. So I'll write container here and I'll put p5. What is p5? What does p5 refers to?
is it padding?
Yeah, padding. Yes, padding. And then what if I want to have a shadow on this div? What's the class for that? What's the class for making a shadow on this div?
Shadow.
Yeah, just a shadow. But what if I want to make it bigger? The shadow. Shadow dash
Hash.
LG. Good. Shadow dash LG. LG refers to large. Okay. So we have this div. Now what's really special about this div is it's totally
Sorry,
responsive.
you
Yeah.
said shadow LG makes it bigger.
Yeah, the shadow bigger.
The shadow, like
Yeah.
it makes it the shadow bigger.
Yeah, look. If I were to
Oh,
write
okay,
just
okay.
shadow,
And then what is for shadow to make it like
smaller?
not large?
Okay, so basically shadow dash SM. SM stands for
For small?
small, yeah. So we'll have a little shadow here. If you were to see, this is a little tiny teeny shadow here.
So that'll be shadow slash SM.
Yeah, shadow dash SM, not slash.
Dash, sorry.
Dash, okay?
And the larger one would be shadow dash LG.
Yeah, good. Shadow dash
Oh, got
LG. So shadow LG. And we'll have a larger shadow here. Okay? So what's special about this container div is it's a fully responsive div. Look, if I were to make my screen shorter, it's auto going to adapt itself. Look, and when it reaches the smaller screen, it's going to take up the full screen. And if the screen is bigger, it's going to make itself smaller. Can you guys see? It's
Yeah.
changing its size according to the screen sizes. Okay? Any questions with this container div? Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, great. So there are two kinds of containers with Bootstrap. So we have a container, okay, a class of container. So basically containers take around 80% of your screen. and then there's another div called container dash fluid. Container dash fluid, it's coming from the Bootstrap. Everything I write here is coming from the Bootstrap. Okay, so container fluid, what the difference between container and container fluid is, container fluid takes up the full space of the screen. Can you guys see? Wait, let me give it a color so you can see it easily. I want to give it a red color. What should I do? What should I do if I want to make a red color on this container?
Danger.
Danger what? There's something else we have read before danger.
BG.
Very good. BG. BG and then danger.
Danger.
So we have a red color. So this is our container fluid. So container fluid takes up the full space of the screen.
So that means the width will be 100.
Yeah, good. The width will be 100 for container fluid. Okay.
Yeah.
And what would happen if I were to make it just container? What would happen then? It's going to take up around 80% of the screen.
80%.
Yes, good. Around 80% of the screen. According to the screen size, it's going to adapt itself. Okay, so
By
any
default?
question? By default, yeah. So basically, because this is coming from the Bootstrap, so because Bootstrap is basically aligning it. Look, if I were to hover upon it, you'll see all of the things that it does. So we have this. All the styling is already present in Bootstrap. Okay. Any question with about container or container fluid? Any questions?
Can you just explain container fluid one more time, please?
Okay, yeah, great. So have you, do you guys get the concept for containers? So container is basically like a div, a responsive div that takes up about 80% of the screen on bigger screens. Okay, and as the screen size reduces, the container adapts itself accordingly. I'm going to show you again. So look, this is a bigger screen. If I were to make it smaller, it adapts itself according to the screen size, and when the screen size is too low, it's gonna make up 100% of itself. Look, if I were to increase it, it's gonna change itself. Okay.
So this is for just container.
This is just for the container, yeah. So
the container, basically, you have to fix the width of it.
No, we haven't fixed the width of it. The Bootstrap had fixed the width.
Oh, okay.
So the difference between container and container fluid is container takes up around 80% of the screen, whereas container fluid takes up it takes up 100% of the screen. That's the main difference between them.
So when you write container fluid in your code, you are automatically taking 100% width of the screen, right?
Good. And what about container?
That would just be 80%.
Very good. That's it. That's the difference between the container and container fluid. Okay. So what if I want to have a smaller div? Should I write container or container fluid?
Container.
Good. Container. So I'll just write container. So here you go. Okay. Now comes the main part, and I want you to listen really carefully. Okay. So this is a div, okay, and this div has nested divs like this. Like I want to create this layout. Okay, this is the layout I want to create. Any questions about the layout?
No.
Okay, so we want to create it in Bootstrap, and what's really amazing about Bootstrap is the moment we're going to create this this layout, it will be automatically responsive. How is that? I'll show you in a minute, but first let me give you the theoretical part of it. So basically, whenever you see something side by side, what's the rule that I told you about? Whenever you see something side by side, what would it mean if you see something side by side in a website?
Display flex.
Very good. It has a display of flex. But now I'm going to change my statement a bit. Whenever you see something aligned side by side and you are using Bootstrap, now you're not going to write display flex. Now you are going to say row. Okay? Whenever you see something side by side in Bootstrap, you'll say row. Row is display flex. Okay, it's display flex, but it's a responsive display flex. It's going to automatically adapt according to the screen size. Whenever you see something side by side in Bootstrap, what will you say? Row. Okay, not display flex, row. Any questions about this?
No.
Okay,
No.
very good. Whenever you see something side by side, it's in a row. That's it. Okay. Okay. When you define row, and what is row? Row is a class in Bootstrap. Okay. Whenever you define row in Bootstrap, you get 12 columns. Whenever you define row, you now have 12 columns. Any questions?
No.
Okay, great. That is
So
that.
when you're telling me when we write row,
Okay.
right?
Good. Okay.
Then it automatically gives us 12 columns?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
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 So now I want you to take a guess out of those. Okay, this is going to have a display of row. Okay, it's going to have a row class. So when you define row, you have 12 columns. So now I want you to take a guess. How many columns out of 12 columns does this first div take? Take a guess. It can be anything, and guesses can be different.
Like 4?
Very good. It's going to be 4. What about this one?
8.
8. Okay, let's say 8.
Or
But again,
10?
there's a problem. Yeah, it will be 10, because if we were to write 4 and 8, it sums up to what? What does it sums up to?
12.
12. So
12.
basically now we don't have any more with to move around. So what about this one? We want to
Oh,
accommodate
okay.
this one. Okay, so we can say 8 for this one. So what do you think this one would be?
10. And
If I were to write
6.
10, it's gonna take up 4 plus 10 to be 14. Yeah. So what do you think?
6.
4.
6. Yeah, 6. Good. This we can't write 4 because this one is bigger than this one. So it will be around 6. Okay, and what about this one? How much columns do we
Two.
very good. We're left with only 2 columns now. So we
Oh,
have
it has to add up to 12 together.
yes, exactly.
I
Good.
thought like you meant individual. They will have 12 in individual.
No. You all of these inside a single row would have to add up to 12. Okay,
And
so you
that's
have
only when we target row.
only when we target row. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Okay, so if you see something side by side, you have to take a guess of how many columns each one is taking up to make up into a 12 column layout. So any question about this theoretical drawing or whatever that is?
No.
Okay, great. So now we are gonna go with the coding. So I want to have, if you can see, this is kind of like similar to this. Okay, so now we want to do this. So inside the container, if I want to have something side by side like this, what's the class for that?
Row.
Very good. So I'll just write row. So inside the row, the moment you define row, you now have 12 columns. Okay, so inside this div we have 12 columns. Okay, so for this one, okay, one more thing, this layout is only for the larger screen. Okay, this is only for the larger screen. So inside the row, how many columns do we have?
12.
12. Good. So this first one is taking how much?
4.
4. So how would I write it? I'll just write dot col representing column dash lg representing larger screen dash 4. This would mean I want to have a column that is going to have a width of 4 columns on larger screen only. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Did you guys get it? Should I repeat it? Wait, I'll just do all of this layout first and then I'll repeat all of it again. Okay?
Okay.
So I want to have it color of anything. Give me a color. Any color. That is in the Bootstrap.
Yellow.
So how do I write yellow?
BG.
BG, good. And then
Then text warning.
dash warning. Not text warning. We want the BG one. If I were to save it, you wouldn't see anything here. Why can't you see anything here? Because it doesn't have any height. So that's why you can't see it. So if I were to give it a padding of, let's say 2, now you'll see it because now it has space from the inside, so height increases. So I'll save it. Can you see now? And how
Yeah.
many columns is it taking out of 12?
4.
4. Good. So I inside the same row, make sure you inside the same row. What about the next one? This one, how much is it taking?
6.
6. So how do I write it? Look at this one
COL.
and then answer me. So how should I write it?
Col
Very good. Call and then
dash
dash.
LG
Very good. Dash LG and then
dash 6.
dash 6. Good. Now I want to give it a different color so we can differentiate. Let's say I want to give it a red color. What should I do?
So B
BG and
G
then
dash
dash.
danger.
Very good. Danger. And I want to have it some height. So what should I do?
So give it some padding.
Very good. Give it some padding and make sure to give it the same padding so it's in the same line. So if I were to save it, I still can't see it. Why is that?
Because you give it the same color as
Oh,
the
very
background.
good. Exactly. Because we have the same color in the background and the foreground as well. So give me something else. Maybe let's say success. What is the success? What is the
Is
color
it
for
green?
success? Very good. It's green. So if you were to look here, this one is taking more space than the yellow one. Why is that?
Because it has more
Very
column.
good. Very good. So now we're left with only how many columns?
2.
2 columns. So how do I write it?
So
Dot.
col
LG.
dash LG
Very
dash
good.
2.
Very good. And then I want to have a different color. So let's say BG and secondary. What's the secondary color?
Gray.
Very good. It's gray. P2, not 3. So here you go. That's it. We have created our layout. But what's more interesting about this one is, I want you to take a close look. This is
It
the
says
biggest
the
one.
class is ending in 2 minutes.
Okay, wait. Let me. Uh, okay. So this is for the larger screen, and now comes the interesting part. So the moment I reach smaller than the larger screen, it automatically adapts to the screen size. Can you see the difference?
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening here? So
They're coming into column.
yeah, and how many columns is each one taking? How many columns do we have in a row?
4.
No.
Oh, 12.
12. So basically, if you don't define columns for the smaller screen, wait. Here we have only defined columns for the larger screen. Yes. So basically, if you won't define the columns for the smaller screen, so Bootstrap automatically assumes that on the smaller screen you want to give each one the full width of the row. Wait, I'll repeat it again. So we have given dimensions for the larger screen. So we said that the first one is going to have 4 columns on the larger screen, the second is 6, the third is going to have 2 columns. Okay, but have we specified anything for the medium screen? No. So Bootstrap would assume that you want to have 12 columns for each div on the medium screen. So what would this do is, it's going to give each one the width of 12 columns the moment it reaches the medium screen. Here you go. Does it make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's make it more interesting. So as I said, this one is for the larger screen. Okay, now I want to change it on the medium screen. So this is what I want. The same layout. Okay, it's the same layout. I want this same layout to have these dimensions on the medium screen. So how much is this taking out of 12 columns?
5.
Okay, 5. What about this one? How much are we left with now? In a single row, how much are we left with?
7.
Very good, 7. And what about this last one?
Well, isn't that already 12?
Yeah, good. So 12. It is already 12, but we have to specify it, to be on the safe side. So, any question with this layout? Because we want to, we are now going to make this same layout into this layout on medium screen. Okay. So, how would we do that? The first one. So, how much is the first one taking on the medium screen? How much is it
5.
taking? 5.
Four.
So how should no 5? ठीक है. Let's go with 5. So how would we specify for the medium screen? The same way. So I'll just write call.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you know how you said all have to equal to 12 in total?
Yeah.
So we can still have that like 12 and 12.
Yeah. Basically, so it has to be 12 in a single row. But how many rows do we have here?
Oh yeah, 2.
Okay, 2. So basically, the first 2 sums up to 12.
Oh, so each line is 12.
Yes, each row, each
Okay.
line is 12. Okay.
I got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
So now I want to make the first one change its dimension on the medium screen. So I'll just write col MD5. So what would this mean is I want you to have 4 columns on the larger screen, and then I want you to have 5 columns on medium screen. Okay. Similarly for this one, what should I write?
MD,
Col
like cold.
MD and then
7.
7. Good. And what about the last one?
Cold,
Col
MD,
MD
12.
12. Perfect. So now this is for the larger screen. Okay, we have 4, 6, 2. But the moment it reaches medium screen, it changes its layout. Just like that. 5, 7, 12. It's adapting itself only in one line. Okay. Now I want to change the same layout on smaller screens. Not the medium, the smaller. Wait, let me undo this one and let me give you the layout for smaller screens. Okay. So how much is this first one taking?
1.
1. What about this one? How much columns would we have left now?
3.
This single row, this is a single row. We have to sum it up
11.
to 11. Yes, we have to sum it up to 12. So 1 and 11, it sums to 12. And what about this one?
12.
12.
12.
For the smaller screens, okay? So wait, let me make it bigger. So give me the class for that. How do I write it?
Cold.
Very good. Call.
Dash.
Yes.
What do you mean? S.
Yes. Yeah, good. SM, and then how much was the first one?
1.
1. Good. What about this one?
Cold.
Call.
Dash. SM.
Good. And then
Dash.
11.
11.
And then this one is going to be call SM 12. So now you'll see this layout changing as the screen size changes. Look, this is the larger, medium, smaller. But there's a problem now. If I were to go more smaller, it's going to adapt itself to 12 columns. Any questions?
No.
Are you sure? Because the homework is going to be a little difficult. Any questions about this one? This is the main core of Bootstrap. If you were to understand this one, everything else is going to be easy. Like you can call yourselves a good front-end developers if you were to get this one only. So any questions?
No.
Okay, great. So we'll do one last layout and then we can end the class, and then inshallah tomorrow we're gonna create a new website using Bootstrap for responsive. Let me undo this one as well so we can start fresh. Okay, so what do you see? First of all of these are side by side, so that would mean we have
Row.
very good, we have a row. Okay, so how many columns is this first one taking out of how many?
2.
Out of 12. So this one is
12.
taking 2. Okay, let's
2.
say this one is taking 2. What about this one? Make sure each of them basically adds up then to 12.
12. Yeah.
So this one,
A 5.
let's make it 4, so we have more spaces for this one, these ones. Okay, So 2, 4, and what about this one?
Can we keep that? Can we also keep it the same?
Yeah, we can keep it the same, yes, but again we would have a problem. 2 plus 4, 6, plus 4, 10, and
So
then
we'll
we'll
keep it
only have,
3.
so yes, let's make it 3. This one is smaller than this one.
2.
This one is smaller than this one. So we have 2 plus 4, 6, plus 3, 9. Now we only have 3 columns left. So 1, yeah, we can do it 1, and then
2.
yeah, good. So we have our first column completed. What about these ones? These two?
Can we give it a 6 and
Yeah, it's 6, 6. Perfect. This is for the larger screen. We'll change it in the for the smaller screen. Okay. So any question with this layout?
No.
Okay, great. So first of all, I want to have a div with around 80% of width. What's the class for that? A responsive div.
The container?
Very good. The container. So I'll just write container, and I want to have a P5. What does P5 mean?
Padding?
Very good. Padding 5. And I want to have, let's say, a shadow. And this time I don't want to have a color, so we can have a little clean layout. Okay. So now I want them to be side by side. So what's the class for that?
Row.
Very good. So inside the container we'll have a row. Okay, now comes the fun part. So inside the row we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. The first one is taking how much on the larger screen?
2.
2. So how do we write it?
Col.
Very good. Col.
Dash.
Dash.
LG.
LG.
Yeah.
Dash.
Dash. 2.
2. Good. And I want to make it have some height from the inside. So
With that. P.
P. Good. So P, let's say 3. And I want to have it a color. So let's say BG danger. What is danger? What's the color for danger?
Red.
Red. Good. So this is the first column. Save it, and let's see, do we have this column? So we said 2 columns. So why is it having 12 columns here? Yeah, we have a problem now. I have said specifically that call LG2, but it's taking up 12 columns.
Because it's a small screen.
Very good, because this is a small screen, where we have specified here that this one is going to have 2 columns on the smaller screen, and if larger screen, sorry, we have specifically said here that this one is going to have 2 columns only on the larger screen. So if you won't specify anything for the smaller screen, what would Bootstrap do? It's gonna make it have 12 columns. Okay, so basically this is a smaller screen, that's why we're seeing 12 columns and not 2 columns, because we have said we want to have 2 columns only on the larger screen. So we have to make the screen larger. So here you go. Okay, so what about the next one? Next one is 4. So how do we write it? Col.
Dash LG dash 4.
Very good. 4. So I want to have a padding, and then I'll say BG success. Perfect. Similarly, in the same row, the third one is, how much is it taking?
3.
3. So we'll write col LG 3, P3, and let's say BG secondary. I want to have all of these classes in this div. The fourth one is col. Very good. Col LG 1, padding of 3, and BG and info maybe. Let's say. Save it, and now our first row is perfectly completed, but there's a problem. The last one remains. So col LG, how much is last one taking? 2. 2, yes, col LG 2, P3, BG, let's say primary. What's the primary color?
It's another blue.
Yeah, good, another blue. So perfect, we have our first row completed. Now let's move towards the second one, but it's in the same row. Okay, we don't have to create a new row for it, because but the moment 12 columns are completed, so anything you write after it is gonna be it's gonna get into the second row on its own. You don't have to write a new row. So is our 12 columns completed or not here with these divs? Yeah, so basically we have 2 plus 4 6 plus 3 9 plus 1 10 plus 2 12. So 12 columns are completed here. So anything we write after this is gonna be on the next line, because the 12 columns are now completed. Okay, so the next one is 6.6. So I'll say colon lz 6 p3, and let's say bg of warning. Okay, yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What if you multiply by 2? Because 6
Very
is
good. That's a very good approach. That's a very good suggestion. We can just simply do what? Multiply with 2. Very good, Mr. LD. Okay, so but now we want to change this color because we want to differentiate between them. So give me a color. Danger, success, secondary, info, primary, and we have another called BG, body, and tertiary, but it's not gonna be, well, it's just too light. So let's say BG, and we can say secondary and dash. How do we make it darker?
Emphasis.
Very good, emphasis. So the layout is ready, but I think we have misspelled something. BG secondary, why isn't it working? BG secondary, there's no secondary, just subtle, but it's too light. So let's say BG danger, there's no emphasis. Let's say BG warning, emphasis. Let's go with warning, and emphasis. Why isn't emphasis working? Wait, this subtle, but there's no emphasis. Wait, let me give it another go. Let's say danger. Okay, perfect. The layout is perfectly ready. Any question with the layout? We have two. How many columns we had? Yeah, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, and then 6, 6. So the layout is ready for the bigger screens. Now I want to change this layout as we reach the medium and the smaller screens. So for the medium, I wanted to have something like this. This is what I want for the medium. So how much is this one taking?
6.
6. How much are we left with now? Good, 6. This one? 3
4.
maybe? 4 would be too much, I guess. 3 would be good. And what about this one?
7.
7. Okay, good. And how much are we left with now?
2.
2, good. And what about this one?
12.
12. Perfect. Okay, so the first one is taking how much? 6. So what should I write on the medium screen for the medium screens?
So colon
Very good, call
dash M
dash MD and then 6.
dash 6.
Similarly for this one, call MD 6. Then the third one, 372. Okay, call MD 3, call MD 7, and then we'll have call MD, how much was it? 2.
2.
And what about the last two? Wait, wait, we have miscalculated something. How many divs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait, I have miscalculated it. So let's say this one. I want to have it like this. So how much is this taking? 8 maybe, let's say 8,
Yeah.
and let's say 4. So we'll say this one on the medium screen is going to take call MD8, and this one is going to take call
4.
MD4. Perfect. Save it. And this is the for the larger screen. And if the moment we reach medium screen, the layout is changed. And what would happen if we were to go on the smaller screen? What would be the layout now? Because we haven't specified for the smaller screen, so what would happen?
They all become 12.
Very good. They all become 12. Perfect. So as you can see, we have achieved a perfect responsiveness with just one line of code for each screen. So imagine if we were to do it with media queries. will be, still be doing the first column. So just like that, you make your website responsive. So any question about this one? Because this is what we are studying Bootstrap for. If you were to get this, you would get everything. So any question with this layout, with this topic?
No.
Okay,
No.
great. So for now, you're gonna have a homework, and I want you to submit this homework before the next class. It's gonna be easy. It'll hardly take half an hour for you, from you, just half an hour. So this is what I want you to create. Okay, so this one is for the larger screen. Okay, I'll highlight it here, and I also upload it on the assignment. Do you guys know how to? Have you guys tried uploading your assignment on the assignment? The portal that I've created. Have you uploaded your assignments there, or do you have any problems?
Yeah, I didn't get to yet. I
Okay.
just tried it once when I clicked on file, I wasn't able to download it. The second time, the option wasn't there.
Okay, so I'll let you go through all of the things. I'll show you how you are going to submit your assignments. Okay, so just give me a minute. So this is for the larger screen, and this one is for the medium screen. Four. Oh, I don't have any space here. This is for the medium screen, and then I'll have the one for the smaller screens. Smaller screens are gonna be easy. Okay, 6. And this one is for the smaller screen. So any question about the layouts?
No.
Okay, great. So I'll just take a screenshot and I'll show you how you can upload your assignments there. First I'll upload the assignment so I can see. Okay. Also, Mr. Adil, you haven't sent me your email, so how would I enroll you? Please send me your email in the group so I can, upload your email here. So what I want to do is upload assignment. Okay, the topic is Bootstrap. Description is create the layout using Bootstrap. It's 10 marks. So I'm gonna put a deadline for tomorrow. Okay, and it's 2 a.m. Pakistani time, so it'll be around, I guess, 5 with you guys, I guess.
Yeah.
So here you go, and this one is assignment, and the file I uploaded, desktop, it's boot. Always boot. So if you were to now log in into your portals, you can see the assignment for this one. Okay, so how you can submit your assignments? So I have a dummy student here. Yeah, look, the once you open your portal and go into the assignments tab, you'll see a Bootstrap assignment here, the one I created just now. Okay, if you were to click in those icon, you can see the description and stuff, but the main thing is this image. So if you were to click on this image, it's gonna download the file that you have to create. Look, it's downloaded it, and now you can see the layout that you have to create, and it's here. Okay, so once you're done with your task, what you can do is simply click on this icon and then locate your file. For example, this is your file, this one. Okay, so you just double click it, and now it says that this is the file that you selected. So this is what we want to upload, so simply I'll press on submit, and now it says submitted. So now it would be I would now I can now see your assignments just like this. Wait, I'll show you that as well. And so look, this is the assignment that I have just submitted now. So I can just download your download the thing that you submitted, and I can now check whatever you have created. Okay, so this is like a simple, like really simple. Okay, so this is how you have to submit your assignments, and you have to submit your assignments before the next class tomorrow, inshallah. Okay, and this
Okay.
topic is really important, and I want you to do this topic. Okay, I don't want you to do anything else, just this topic. Okay,
Okay.
so any questions?
No. Sounds good.
Okay, okay, great. You can leave then. Inshallah, we'll have a class tomorrow. Okay,
Okay,
Allah
thank
Hafiz.
you. Have a
Allah
nice
Hafiz.
day.
Allah Hafiz.